자, 그러면은 이제 한번 정리를 해야겠죠? 일단 필트가
We know a little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
아니, 그건 아니겠지. 물컨통에 물건과 피가
Paint from the paint pot
이건
was
아닐 것
replaced
같은데.
by blood from the paint pot to hide the evidence. Nope.
피는 어디서 묻은 걸까? 또 어떻게 사용됐을까? 칠한 얼굴색 깃털을 피 묻은 칼에 이동시킨다.
Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife.
I think you're right. Can't decide if I'm disappointed or relieved.
I have a question. Why?
왜?
Either it's a very strange coincidence, or somebody set it up.
그러니까
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person
아니면은
unless
프레야가
someone
계속
took it from
아까
her.
무슨 0점
Let's go
어쩌고
over
저쩌고
what we
있으니까
do know.
정답을 잘
The door
찾는다고요?
was locked
뭐
the whole
논리적으로
time.
맞는 것만 몇 개
It stayed
없으니까요.
locked until Fitz kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya did.
Hold on. If there was no
아,
knife, then what did stab Freya?
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
맞아,
How is
이건
it not
중요할 수도
important?
있어.
Right now, I'm less interested in the what and more interested in the how.
왜냐면 나머지들 금이가 있었잖아.
The
그게
angle of
분명 연관이
Freya's
있을
wound
거야.
suggests she was stabbed at a perfect right angle. That is, from directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the
근데
canvas.
캔버스는 또 멀쩡했단 말이지.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with a painting.
Maybe something went through it.
Through the
근데 어떻게
painting,
그림을
wouldn't
멀쩡하지?
that leave a hole?
그니까.
Okay, well, how about this? How do we know Freya was stabbed before she fell over? Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated.
뭐 어쩌라는 거야? 일단 잠깐만요. 그 앵무새 사진만 얘한테 물어보고 파피한테 갈게.
Freya drew these,
Yeah, I think so. There's a note on the back.
but she never showed them to me.
Well, I think it was a gift for your mother, like a
한번
private thing
정리해준
between
느낌이긴
Freya
해요,
and Flora.
자, 파피한테 가봅시다. 우리 누구한테 면담만 하면은 매일같이 애들이 그러죠. 빠삐 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 빠삐. 자, 빠삐. 너가 해줄 얘기가 아주
So
많은
there
것
are
같다.
two families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora is a Remington, originally.
아, 역시.
So was
플로라
Primrose,
멘트
my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
아, 그렇게 된 거야.
So the fellows and the pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask, that means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
설마 그 탐정이 니네 엄마는 아니겠지?
There's something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
어, 그래?
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
잠깐만요. 혼자 한 번만 보고 올게요. 이거 혹시 위에서, 그러니까 얘가 쓰러진 거는 따로 쓰러진 거고 그 뒤에 위에서 뭐가 떨어졌나? 여기서 왔다기엔 그림이 아무 영향이 없으니까 여기서 왔다고 할 수 없고 위나 아래거든요. 그럼 그러니까 얘랑 얘가 쓰러진 이유가 뭔가 똑같은 이유로 쓰러졌는데 그 뒤에 천장이나 아래에서 얘를 찔렀다고 봤는데 아래에 뭐 구멍이 있는 거 아닌 것 같으니까 위에서 뭐가 떨어지거나 위에서 무언가로 관통시켜 죽은 건가? 다락방에 뭐 있을 것 같은데 그렇게 되면 근데 지금으로선 풀 수 없겠죠 아마.
Where's that light coming
That's
from?
just daylight. There's a decent gap between the...
그러니까 여기서 뭐가 떨어뜨려서요.
Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is?
이 틈으로 떨어져서 애를 죽인 건 이게 살해 방법이라면은 그 증거를 가장 먼저 치울 수 있었던 건 제일 먼저 도착한 필치 텐데 필치랑 같이 먼저 도착했던 3명이었나 2명이 가장 유력해지지 않나? 용의자로서.
Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you?
그 가능성도 높아요. 여기서 되게 희한한 게 뭐냐면 첫 번째 그레모어가 본인들이 누가 불렀는지 모르는데 왔어. 이게 첫 번째로 되게 의심스럽고요. 이상하죠? 두 번째로 아까 갑자기 프레야가 남겼다는 편지처럼 나한테 보여주면서 웬 그림 보여주고 있죠 지금? 이거 보여주고 있죠? 근데 이거 얻을 때 종이에 프레야의 글이 적혀 있었고 여기서 만약에 진짜로 막 유령 같은 게 나오는 이게 작품이다 그러면 상관이 없는데 그게 아니라면 이거는 보통 그거예요. 그레모어랑 셀리가 초청되는 건 이미 정해져 있었던 거야. 그러니까 살인 사건이 아니더라도 어떤 사건을 바탕으로 얘네를 어차피 부를 거였고 그걸 알고 있었기 때문에 프레야가 준비를 해놨던 거야. 근데 예기치 못하게 프레야는 예상하지 못한 상태로 죽은 거죠. 그러니까 이거는 상황을 봐야 되는데 뭐가 대체 어떻게 돌아가는 건 상황을 좀 더 봐야긴 해야 되는데 한 가지 확실한 거는 이런 경우에는 어떤 경우가 많냐 물론 이제 수많은 추리 만화에서 나오는 이야기지만 이런 식으로 일부러 탐정을 고용하는 경우가 있어요. 왜? 사건을 마치 해결한 것처럼 보이게 만들기 위해서. 그러니까 진짜 목적은 따로 있고 살인사건이나 그런 사건은 원래 약간 다른 사건인데 이게 보통 가짜 사건을 만들거든요. 근데 진짜로 사람이 죽는 경우가 생기는 거지. 그럼에도 상관이 없어. 그렇게 해서 사건을 종결시킴으로써 내가 밝히고 싶었던 진실을 밝히거나 혹은 이제 숨기고자 했던 진실을 완전히 묻어버리는 용도로 이 탐정과 추리를 사용하는 경우가 꽤 있어요. 에피소드들이. 물론 대부분의 추리 만화에서는 주인공들이 이제 그거 합니다. 아 이래서 우리를 불렀구나 하면서 이제 그 작전을 짠 사람을 이제 물먹이죠. 예, 그 장면이 많이 나오는데 뭐 대표적으로 이제 많은 것들 중 하나가 또 그것도 있죠. 숨겨진 걸 찾아내는. 그러니까 예를 들어 이 탱글 타워에 뭔가 숨겨진 비밀이 있거나 아니면은 얘네 플로라나 이런 애들이 숨기고 있던 사실을 파헤치기 위해서 다른 사건을 이제 계기로 탐정을 불러. 그럼 탐정이 계속 탐문 수사를 할 거 아니야. 그럴 때 이제 이런 수상한 것들이 있다. 우리 집안에 수상한 비밀이 있다. 이걸 던져. 그러면은 탐정들이 그걸 찾아내겠지. 그럼 밝혀지는 거지. 그럼으로써 이제 그걸 밖으로 공표시키고 싶었던 애들이 뭐 그렇게 해서 탐정을 쓰는 경우도 있는데 이건 봐야 돼요. 되게 경우가 많은데 뭐 결과적으로 이런 말 하면 그런데 이걸 이 얘기를 왜 했냐? 탐정이 주인공인데 그런 에피소드가 펼쳐진다. 99% 주인공들은 그거를 주모한 애들은 물 먹습니다. 보통 물 먹는 경우가 많아요. 그러니까 본인이 원하는 대로 안 끝나. 뭐 일부는 원하는 대로 될 수
When I
있는데
first saw it,
본인이 원하는
I
대로 안
thought
끝나는
it
경우가
looked like
많아요.
Flora was
이런
holding a
걸 주도하는
knife
애들. 그러니까
with blood
지금
on
이제
it.
그레모어를 부른
You don't
애들은
think that
아마 본인들이
anymore?
원하는 대로 안 될
No.
확률이 높아.
It was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I
물론
was in
아닌 경우도
shock.
있습니다.
I'm just an idiot.
99%는 좀
But
많이
it
갔네요. 한
was blood on the tip.
60%로 하죠.
If you hadn't said anything,
차이가
maybe
너무 심하긴
Fifi
하죠.
wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything. Freya would always load up the palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right. So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do.
잠깐만요. 아 그래서네. 아까 피치나 누구한테 얘기했을 때 그 얘기 나왔잖아. 팔레트에 뭔가 색이 부족하다 그랬잖아요. 나 좀 이따 지금도 할 수 있지 않나? 잠깐만. 초상화를 잘 보고 봐봐. 여기에 쓰인 색깔들 이걸 잘 보고 팔레트 모든 색을 섞어 놓는다 그랬잖아. 근데 이 중에 없는 색이거나 색인데 안 쓴 색이 있을 거야. 주황색이 없지 않아요? 주황색이 이걸 주황색으로 썼나? 그러니까 이게 아마 이 단서가 좀 더 나올 건데 이 색깔에 대한 단서가 나올 것 같아.
Why is the glass cracked down one side?
그러니까.
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way. Freya took good care of her stuff. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
아까 이미
Literally
추궁 다 했잖아.
anybody.
뭘 아닌 척을
What
해.
was inside?
Nothing.
그러니까 내가 너무 빨리 풀었어. 원래 얘 거를 이렇게 빨리
You
풀 게
get some
아니었는데.
weird insects around here. But
다
I've never
풀어버렸어.
seen one
이걸
like
먼저
that.
다 하고 푸는
I'm
거였네.
not sure anyone has.
Freya might have. She used to keep
이걸 다
beetles in a
했어야
box
되는데 안 하고
in her
그냥
room.
풀어버려가지고
Why?
For fun,
뭔가
obviously.
스포당하고 다시 그러니까 드라마를 무슨 한 7화 정도 7화를 본 다음에 다시 한 3, 4, 5화 보는 기분이야. 3, 4, 5, 6화
Forgot we
보고
even
있어
had
다시.
an attic. Is that supposed to be Flora?
Possibly?
Oh, how nice. Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
I think everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes. That belongs to Flora, I think. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's
Yeah.
where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
서로가
Do you know
서로를
why?
싫어한다고
I'm
생각하네.
not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it. Did you find that in Fifi's room?
No? Should we have?
No, it's just... It looks like something she'd use, don't you think? Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah,
어,
He does that.
그러니까 단서에 대한 정보를 얻고
Is
풀어야
that a
되는데 그냥 다
gardening
풀어버렸어.
trowel?
아니 근데 어쩔 수가 없는 게 내가 보기에는 단서를 안 줘도
Really?
그냥 논리적으로 저거밖에
Never
되는 게
seen
없으니까
music.
그냥 딱딱딱딱딱 간 건데
Don't look at me. I didn't break
문제는
it.
이제
Does
그러고 쭉쭉
anybody
가야
else use
되는데
the
쭉쭉
music
못 가는 게 이제 그
Yes.
트리거가 되는 단서들을
I
내가
don't
다 못
know
모았다
who,
보니까
but I can
예를
tell
들어
when
아까 호수
somebody
문제 못
else
푸는
has
것처럼
touched the
하프 문제
piano.
못 푸는 것처럼
I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does
그래서 트리거
Trina
모으려고
let them
다시
out to
돌아온
fly?
거잖아요.
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't.
그러니까 원래는 저거 이제 마지막 거 추리 같은 거 할 때 단서 모르니까 다시 단서를 그러니까 이거 할 때 혐의할 때 모르니까 다시 와서 단서를 다 보면서 이제 아 이거구나 저거구나 해야 되는데 저걸 그냥 풀어버리는 거야 그냥 이거밖에 없네 하고 딱딱딱 풀어버리니까
It's nothing.
단서가 없는데 푼
They're just
거지.
unusual. Never seen
그래서
that
꼬인 것
one
같아요.
before. Was it in the green
원래는
house?
이제
Oh, we found it
풀
in
수가
Penny's
없으니까
room.
나머지를 다 보면서 다른 단서들도 모아서 다른 트리거 다 있는 상태에서 풀면
Do you know
자연스럽게
where
다음
those
거로 가야
earmuffs
되는데
came from?
그게 아니라 저걸 그냥 풀어버리니까
Why?
게임은 이제 풀었네
Found them
다른 거
lying
알려줄게 하고
around.
갔는데
I think they belong
단서가
to Fitz.
부족하니까 더 이상 진행이
Put
안
them on
되는
the
거지.
statue so he'd see them. I
트리거가
thought they looked like
모자라니까.
headphones, like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet. How sweet.
풀어버려갖고 서순이 꼬였어. 어이가 없지.
Needless noise from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word,
시야?
unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling. Stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space.
왜 다 C를 해?
Holding fast, days as shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom? Some 4 walls make round a room. Between the lips a silver spoon, a story written all too soon. The chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart. Lost her liberation lays in the center of a maze. With surging tide, the waves are thrown, an entity of
그렇죠.
all its own. But on its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be. Softly does the flower grow, all in time, and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way. Eavesdrop what the stars are saying, earthly tether, slowly fraying, floating helpless from the worst of jealous hunger, selfish thirst. Take a moment, kneel and meet the flowers growing at your feet. Feathers flashing in the light from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage. That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always thought that would be kinda cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
자 일단 얘한테서 얻을 수 있는 거 다 얻었어요. 정?
It's a stone.
I think it's
cup.
an egg.
What animal?
Hawk.
Right, a hawk bear lizard.
What do you think
I
it's
think
for?
it's
Is it working?
No. It's full of
Any
this-
fish in there?
Not a although there
It's a
is-
cassette. Or it used to be.
세상에 이런 게 있었다니. 아이고 잘못 눌렀다. 아 너무 느려. 답답해. 좀 더 빨리 안 돼?
Weird.
It's someone humming too.
혹시 모르니까 끝까지 놓겠습니다. 야, 다음 힌트. 예, 오케이, 콜. 자, 말 좀 하자. 어이 탐정. 지금부터 난 너에게 많은 걸 물어볼 거야.
Tangle Tower.
제대로
No
답하길
idea why
바라지.
they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so. Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong
No
with it?
organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Have you deciphered the meaning of those four
세 개
symbols on the
알아냈어, 세
harp?
개.
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No.
No. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora
It's
wielding
a
a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe
다락방에서
in
온
that
거라
kind of
믿는다.
thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told?
그치, 그것도 가능성이 있지.
Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last.
야, 저 크락이
You got
뭐에
it
갔을까?
open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself
물감도
yesterday.
그렇고 저
I
금이
thought
어떻게
Flora might be
갔는지가
hiding
궁금하긴 한데.
hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
충격파 같은
It
거.
was. Perhaps it's always been empty. Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them. What is that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it attaches to something else.
Why don't you go back and double check the area you found it? Maybe you'll find the rest of the something else.
이거
I'm not
이거
so sure about
트리거인가?
that.
아니라네요.
These
트리거인가
figurines
하고
remind
있는데
me of a
셀리가
case I
말합니다.
once
아니야,
solved
가지마,
involving a
가지마,
possessed
가지마, 가지마.
doll.
안 가도 돼, 시간
Turned out to be
낭비.
a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimore, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we
참 친절한
not having a
게임이야.
fun adventure right at this very moment?
길치한테 되게 친절하지 않아요? 저 같은 길치한테
I'd
어디로
tell
가야
him not
될지
to quit
모를
his
때.
day job, but he hasn't got one. Has he?
아까 막 지도 누르면은 막 힌트도 받을
I
수
admit,
있고
it's powerful. Freya was a
단서
talented
조합되면은 야 단서 조합됐어 가자
Someone
이러고
liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the
이거
photograph.
얼마나
do
시간
we?
낭비하겠어.
Perhaps they just wanted it for reference.
만약에 저거 셀리가 안 막았으면은 막
A book
방에
from the
가서 단서도
library,
없는데 막
one of
계속
hundreds,
클릭해보고
no
왜
doubt.
없지 왜 없지
What makes this
이러겠지.
one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. A diary. Have you read it?
네.
Not yet. It's long.
풀었다고.
And you haven't.
아니 대체 이걸 언제 했어야 되는
attempted to
거길래
That would be cheating.
왜 서순이 안 맞지?
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
아까 비슷한 장르의
And,
어떤 단계인과는 다 다르죠.
What is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client. The people here are surprisingly materialistic, considering how sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
Growing this fruit simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're speculating.
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stone straight from the earth? This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. Some breed of amphibious humanoid, potentially bipedal, although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone
이미
we've met so
알잖아
far.
파피라는 거.
Strange. Is that a clue?
Don't know. It was important enough to be framed, though.
I framed my law degree doesn't make it a clue.
Same? Yeah?
These people really are ridiculous, aren't they?
아
You
그래도
consider that important evidence.
예상했던
do you?
것처럼 모든 사람한테 이걸 하고 다니는 건
One
힘들긴
of 3
하지만
statues depicting the same creature. This one.
그래도 거의 다 가고
is wearing
있다는 게
headphones. Perhaps they
참
belong to someone who likes music.
They're not
다행이다.
headphones. They're earmuffs for blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like. Do you also
단서
have a
나올 때마다
pile of
이야기해야
leaves
되는데
as
저는
a clue?
단서를 다 모아놓고
Not yet.
한 방에 처리하고
Did you see
있잖아요.
some suspicious leaves?
A photograph of Freya could be important.
아마 원래는 거기겠지. 연하기님 말씀대로 그
Does Flora
단서 찾을
still
때마다
own that
다
bird?
돌아다니면서 말
Do
걸고
you
말
know?
걸고 말 걸고 해야
Don't
되는데
think
나는
so. The drawings are
다
from a
말
few years ago.
걸어놓고 말만
I
걸어놓고 이거 조사 하나 이거 조사 하나도 안 하고 말만 걸어놓고
Where'd you dig that?
단서부터
up?
다
It wasn't
찾아놓고
buried. It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps?
There's something about something.
Let's ask her about it.
This little microscope thing, you said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense if you knew what my client had
그래서
asked me
서순이
to
꼬인 듯.
find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry. We already worked out what you're searching for.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He is not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse. It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Aksha, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
와우.
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Empire of
Really?
Galaxy.
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me. And so, I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento from my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired
Oh.
me, I dared to consider it something of a
고용주가 누군지
planetary
알아냈다.
alignment. I had
포인터였구나.
hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
옛날에
Hold on.
인연이 있었구나.
You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect
프레야
is your
그치.
murder victim.
그럴 것 같더라. 왜냐면 프레야가 계속 가져갔잖아요. 그 프레야가 계속 가져갔어요. 얘가 그 딱정벌레를. 그것 때문에 얘를 의심하는 거야. 의심한 거야. 근데 이제 죽어버렸잖아. 정무? 됐다. 완성했다.
That's all for
So-
Should we go back to the...
Let's try this again.
드디어.
You know, I think we might be able... That's got...
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
와우.
Are we gonna go in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to...
야, 오피셜로 말하네요. 오피셜로 말하네. 야, 가서 다 하고 와. 야, 가서 다 대화하고 와. 여기 들어가기 전에. 최종 스테이지인가 보네요, 여기가. 예. 여기가 아마 거의 최종 스테이지가 아닐까. 예. 우리 지금 얘기 다 안 나눈 애들 있거든요. 예, 걔네들하고 다 얘기 나눠라 이거네요. 해니부터 얘기할까요? 아, 그리고 30분 됐으니까 한번 여기서 끊고 가도록 하겠습니다. 단서 마저 다 조사해 봅시다.